And a little birdie today told me about some new cartel that's emerging, and we might have the Zetas joining with someone else. What's this all about?
Well, I mean, there's always different factions. One of the things I routinely say, and I think I've said on the show several times, is that most of the cartels as we know them are actually a consortium of different regional criminal groups and factions. And so we're constantly having like Cartel Jalisco New Generation was really just a faction of the Sinaloa Federation, but they decided to break away and become their own cartel, right? So that's what we're seeing. It's obviously something we have to report on, but it's really routine and commonplace that these groups are forever aligning themselves. Like the Gulf Cartel is at war with Los Zetas, but really the Matamoros faction is kind of working with Los Zetas to fight the Reynosa faction of the Gulf Cartel. So they're at war with them and they're allied with them. I mean, it's just kind of a big mess, really, the
Okay.
minutia.
I'm going to ask the dumbest question of all, but you actually would probably know the answer to this. Are there some cartels that are worse than the others? Like, is there a cartel that, I mean, I realize none of these guys are Sunday school teachers, but is there one that's not that bad and there's one that's basically demons, or are they all just crap?
Well, they're all crap for sure.
Okay.
I think, this is where you get into some really tricky stuff, and this is a very contentious issue, even among my own team. I single out cartels who seem to care less about tomorrow and only care about today's profits and the violence that brings. I tend to single them out more than I do just old school drug cartels who traffic drugs and really try not to mess with most people as long as those people leave them alone. I think that's a very different deal than cartels like Los Zetas or the Reynosa faction of the Gulf Cartel, who are actually trying to have a parallel government. They're actually trying to control the mechanisms of government so that they can they're not trying to take over the government directly, so they can't be called foreign terror organizations in their mind, but they're trying to use fear and intimidation and terrorism to make the population obey and to make the government officials do what they want, which I think makes them foreign terror organizations or deserving of that designation. I don't think all cartels are deserving of that, even though someone can say, well, look what this one did, look what that one did. I think we have to be very careful, and we have to parse that, very surgically. We have to be very careful, because if we were to declare every cartel in Mexico as a foreign terror org or treat them all that way, what we would end up with is everyone from Mexico having a legitimate asylum claim in our country, and we would end up with them fleeing. We would end up with economic devastation in Mexico in the short term. So I think that just taking a couple of small factions who are the most heinous and making an example out of them is probably the better way to go.
Hey, thanks so much for watching The First on YouTube. If you liked what you saw, go ahead and like and subscribe. You heard me. Like it, subscribe. You'll get a lot more of it and a lot more of me.